The Pattaya City Expats Club is a non-profit social organisation and our speakers are volunteers. The club as such assumes no responsibility or liability for the professional reputation of or the quality of services provided by the speaker today.
This is an unusual way to start off a speech, right? But have a look at this back of his hands. They look like the back of the hands of like a 22-year-old. The guy is 76, right? 76 years old. It's one of the things that, and how I came to get to know George better was I have spondylosis, osteoarthritis in my lower back, and I thought, well, this is bloody unfair. Exercised all my life, ate right, probably from sitting down too much when I was writing and stuff, who knows. And I said to this guy, Barry Jones, who's given some talks at the club, I said, I'm thinking about getting, stem cell therapy for my lower back. I was also, given some yoga stretches by a yoga expert and doing some Chinese style stuff on it. And anyway, Barry Jones said, oh, you must talk to George, the stem cell man, George, right? So that's how this talk came about. And I think you're going to find it one of the more interesting talks, and I helped George put the PowerPoint together. So if you don't like the talk, that's okay, but you have to like the PowerPoint presentation. So I'm now going to hand over to George, and I think you're going to find this a very fascinating talk, and you get learn more stuff about stem cells. Let's test to see if this is working. You've got to point it up here. Waiting for the PowerPoint to come up. Oh, here. Yeah, there it is. It's going. Okay, cool. You're on, mate.
Can everybody hear me? Okay, I've only just learnt English, so you'll have to bear with me a little bit. Okay, this starts off at the power within. Let's get to the next frame. Stem cell possibilities. The stem cell can can become one of 220 different cells in the body. And you can see them there. They can become brain cells. I haven't got any brain cells, but I got some of the others. Lungs, heart, liver, genitalia, kidneys, and all the other bits and pieces. So let's just move on, and there's a little...
Do you know how the human body replenishes and repairs itself? Every day, 300 billion old or damaged cells die and are eliminated from our body and need to be replenished or repaired. Stem cells play a fundamental role in our body's need for repair and renewal. Unlike other cells in our body, a stem cell has the unique ability to differentiate itself into other types of cells. These other cells are specialized and have a specific function. For example, intestinal cells are responsible for nutrient absorption. Let's talk about the history of scientific studies on stem cells. At the beginning of the century, it was thought that stem cells could only differentiate into specific blood cells such as platelets, red blood cells, or white blood cells. Several scientific studies published since that time demonstrated an important discovery. Stem cells from the bone marrow or adult stem cells can migrate and differentiate into almost any type of cell in the body. The second essential fact is that adult stem cells have the ability to self-renew and provide a constant supply of stem cells in the bone marrow. In 2002, a published scientific hypothesis was later validated by hundreds of studies. These studies concluded that adult stem cells constitute the natural repair and renewal system of the human body. This was a major and revolutionary scientific discovery. Okay, but how does it work? When a tissue or organ is damaged, it will secrete a first set of specific signaling compounds into the blood, and these compounds will circulate to the bone marrow. These specific compounds signal and trigger the release of stem cells in the blood. And during the next few days, a significant increase in the number of circulating stem cells is observed. Initially, the stem cells do not have a direction. To help them navigate, the affected tissue releases a second set of compounds, which will attract and guide the stem cells to the area in need of repair. When the stem cells connect with the signaling compounds in the capillaries and microvessels of the damaged tissue, the stem cells migrate into the tissue and begin multiplying and differentiating into the specific tissue for its repair and renewal. Stem cells not only repair damaged tissue every day, but on a smaller scale circulate throughout the body to renew and replenish old and dying cells to support optimum health. It is through this mechanism of action that stem cells are considered responsible for the natural repair and renewal system of the entire human body. Therefore, it appears that the correlation between the greater the number of circulating stem cells and the body's ability for self-repair and recovery is directly related. In fact, it has been shown that people who release a large number of circulating stem cells after a stroke have a better recovery and a better post-stroke clinical recovery. In addition, several studies have shown that people with more circulating stem cells had fewer cardiovascular events and a lower death rate related to cardiovascular issues. Increasing the number of stem cells circulating in the body optimizes the ability of tissue repair. There are two solutions to achieve this. First solution, a physician obtains a sample of a patient's stem cells, cultivates them in the laboratory, and re-injects the cells into the patient. A second and more natural preventative is to increase the release of our own stem cells in the body. This is called the mobilization of endogenous stem cells. In summary, there are three complementary and essential steps necessary for repair and renewal. 1. The release of stem cells from the bone marrow. 2. Stem cell circulation in the blood. 3. Migration into the affected tissue. The benefits of the two methods have been demonstrated in hundreds of publications on a variety of conditions. In conclusion, like the circulatory system, the digestive system, or the respiratory system, promoting good health and the survival of the entire body, stem cells are recognized as a new fundamental system of the human body. Therefore, supporting the natural role of adult stem cells contributes to overall health maintenance.
What is an adult stem cell? You can see from here all the different things and cell types that they can become. It's only your adult stem cells that replace the dying cell with brand new healthy cells, and there are more than you will ever need for your lifetime. If you can read the bit in the green there, that will give you an idea of what's happening. Let's move on. Okay, now we've got the life of your liver, the replacement times of the pancreas, the lung, the heart. I'll just leave people to read that for 1 second, and then we'll carry on. Okay, here we have some people in most disease states usually have less than 50% of the number of circulating stem cells of healthy persons. So that's quite an interesting thing to note. Now, we get to the situation here, which is what happened to me. In 2015 or 16, I started to get a backache, and being a bit of a wuss, I didn't want to go to a doctor, so I started taking paracetamol and various other things, and the pain didn't go away, so I ended up going to see a chiropractor. I got to see the chiropractor, and he tried one of his little machines on my back and couldn't fix it, and he told me to go and get an x-ray. So I went to Pattaya Bangkok Hospital, and had an x-ray and brought it back to the chiropractor, who said to me, go and see your personal medical attendant. And I didn't have one. So I went home and I had a little filing cabinet, and I took this picture, and I had it as a file as well on my computer, and put it in the drawer for the next 3 or 4 months. I'm sure some of us have done the same thing. And at that stage, the pain was getting worse. My son, who's in Australia's girlfriend at that time, worked for one of these scan places. You know, the place where you go if you're going to have a baby and they put the jelly on, or they put you in a machine and turn you round, or give you an x-rays and all that sort of thing. And so I sent the picture to my son, who gave it to the scan place, and the doctor there said, get on a plane, come back to Australia, you're in a serious situation. I managed to, being a mean person, get the best ticket I could. I got a Qantas plane back to Brisbane the following day. I got a plane up to New South Wales, to Sydney. I got a plane up to Brisbane. I met my son. We spent the day together because I was quite frightened. I thought I might just drop dead. I didn't quite know what was happening. And the next day we went to see the local GP. We got in to see the local GP. He had a look at the picture and said, I'll call an ambulance. Well, at that stage I was pretty well terrified. So I said, no, don't call an ambulance. My son will take me. My son got in the car, and that was more frightening actually than an ambulance. We got to the hospital. We got to Brisbane and Women's Hospital. I was a bit nervous about that. I didn't want to have anything done to me as a woman. Anyway, we got inside, and inside there was a huge area, maybe 3 or 4 times what we see here, of people sitting and waiting. And my son went to the counter, and the lady said, oh, you have to wait your turn. And he said, my dad's got a AAA. And I was in a wheelchair. I was wheeled through into an area full of curtains where all the bodies off the roads and all the other stuff was coming in. And I spent the day in there being looked at by about 20 doctors. They all wanted to come and have a look at me. And so that's how I started off my day. I was then moved to a ward upstairs and began a barrage of tests. And whatever I had, the hospital said that my aneurysm should have been 2 centimeters, that sort of size, and it was about this size. And for those of you that don't know, if it bursts, you're dead. There's nothing they can do. So there I was in the hospital. It was a wonderful hospital, and I had a barrage of tests all week. I wasn't allowed to get on a treadmill. I had to have an injection in the back of my hand of adrenaline. And I said to the doctor, are you going to wait? He said, yes. He said, I'm going to wait. I said, why? He said, you might die. So at that stage, my blood pressure was a little bit high, and I was a bit stressed. Anyway, we got to the Friday, so I'd been in from the Monday to the Friday. And on the Thursday night, they said the list is out for people having AAAs, and I wasn't on it. And so I thought, oh, they're not going to bother with me. You know what goes through your mind when you're in those situations where you're stressed and you're frightened, and I was frightened. And what also frightened me was that during the week, my daughter, who lives in New Zealand, came over to see me, and she's a very busy accountant. And I said to her, I'm not going to die, darling, it's okay. So that was the situation. I'm quite stressed even thinking about it now. And so on the Friday morning, the list came out, and I'd gone from the bottom of the list to the top of the list. So I'm wheeled down to the operating theatre, and I spoke to the surgeon, and he said to me, because he was about my age, he said, George, I've been doing these for 30 years. I'll give you another 20 years of good life. So I've got 16 or 15 years left, because this was in 2017. And I had the operation, and I was in the hospital a week with all the necessary bits and pieces and tests and bits and pieces, and they finally let me out. And I went and stayed with my son, having had a stent put in, which if anybody here is from the UK, they know what a catapult is. Well, it's like upside down, a slingshot if you're from the States. So they put a tube inside my body, in my aorta, down between my legs to feed the blood to my legs. So I was then in a situation. However, I go back to Australia every 6 months or was going back to Australia every 6 months. And sure enough, I go back to Australia and I have a test. And just like when ladies have a baby, they have the jelly put on them, and the guy looks at it, and the actual swelling wasn't going down. So I spoke to a friend of mine, Tony Hayden-Smith, and he said, I've got this wonderful product, George. It's a stem cell product. And I said, Tony, I've seen all these things in the past, and none of them work. And he said, you've got to give it a try. So I decided to join, and I started, and 6 months later, it was going down. I came back for another jelly test, and it was going down. Now, at that stage, I had to renew my driving license. In Australia, I'm a diabetic, well controlled, but I'm a diabetic, and I went to the doctor to do my eye test for my driver's license. Now, I have a car driver's license, and I have a motorcycle driver's license. So what I did was, the doctor said to me, read the chart, which I did, and I got from 4 lines to the bottom. So I wasn't that good. I was wearing glasses, which I'd been wearing for 23 years. And the next time I went back 6 months later to do the one for the car or the motorcycle, I can't remember which way round it was, the doctor said to me, he said, George, you're cheating. I said, Sunil, I'm nearly 70 years old. I don't bloody cheat. I said, I couldn't remember a list of numbers under any circumstances. He said, well, now you can drive a car without wearing glasses. You have 20/20 vision. So as I left the doctor's, I took my glasses off and threw them in the bin by the door. So that was one of the effects of the product. I didn't know what was happening. So I've been taking stem cells now since November 2017. My blood pressure is normalized. You can see my skin. My eyesight is 20/20, and most people, including my ex-wife, have had cataract operations and all the bits and pieces, and are all dealing with cardiologists. And I was sitting at a table a few weeks ago talking to friends, and they're all talking about their cardiologists. And I said, ask me when I last saw my cardiologist. They said, when? I said, never. So stem cells do work. So having told you my story, we'll just move on to the next frame. And you can see what happens there. It's quite interesting. The pipe swells, and if that pipe bursts, that's the pipe that's down from the heart, almost between the legs. If that bursts, you're dead in 2 minutes. Let's go. Okay, this is the product I started to take, and I had no idea what it was doing for me. I just took it, and the swelling went down and down and down. And what this is, it's called StemEnhance Ultra. The product actually does nothing but release your stem cells from your bone marrow. So the body fixes itself. It's nothing to do with the product. I've been taking the product now since November 2017. I personally take 4 a day, and I've had a magic result. You can see from the graph there that the increase in circulating stem cells within 1 hour of taking 2 capsules, you can see how it goes up. Because when you're 18 years of age, you're probably getting 90% stem cells. When you're 50 years old, you're getting 30% stem cells. When you're 70 years old, and some of us here are 70 years old, you're getting about 10% stem cells. So what the product does basically is it gets the body to release the stem cells to fix the problems in your body. They're not fixed by this product. The product merely releases the stem cells into your bloodstream to fix the problems. So it will fix liver problems and become liver cells, or kidney problems with kidney cells. I have a friend here who was told he would have to go on dialysis, and nobody wants to go on dialysis anywhere, particularly in Thailand, because he had 35% kidney function. And he went on the stem cells for 6 months, and after 6 months he had 55% kidney function, which for people of our age is quite good. So the results have been amazing to me. It's purely by luck that it happened. I would never have taken them or any of these products had I not had the problem with my aortic aneurysm. Okay, macular degeneration. Everybody knows that as they get older, their eyes are not quite so bright. You need glasses to look at the newspaper. Everything becomes more difficult. Driving, everything. So there's an example of macular degeneration, and you can see that after a very short period of time, by taking the stem cells, that has been fixed for people. There's another one with worn knee cartilage. I was never a sportsman, so I didn't have worn knee cartilage, but I have a brother-in-law who was a football coach in the States, and he's got 2 metal knees, and lots of people have got them. So this product seems to fix everything. There are things it doesn't fix, which I should mention, and this is not alcohol related. Gout. I suffer with gout. Nobody in my family suffers with it, and it's an hereditary thing, and the stem cells don't fix gout. That's the only thing they don't fix. My eyesight is good. My hearing is good. I sit round a table with my peers, and the phone rings, and everybody picks up their phone except me, because I can hear still. So I'm very lucky. I'm 76 years old. I was born in December 1946, which is a very long time ago, and the stem cells have basically taken my body back probably 20 or 30 years. There you see the back of my hands. I don't understand why that's happened. It's just an amazing thing. My hands used to be gnarled and wrinkly with big lumps on them and all the other bits and pieces, and for some reason it's happened to the skin on my arms as well, and I presume that is due to the stem cells. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I have no medical knowledge at all. I just look at what's happened to me and think possibly some of you might benefit from looking at a product like this if you have a series of problems. And I mean, when us guys get old, we get prostate problems. Let's not go through the list. But we get all sorts of problems. We need to go and spend a penny more often, or we need to be up during the night, or we need to be doing all those things. Or when we go out, we have to be careful crossing the road because the eyes don't see the curbs too well. These are all things that happen to all of us as we get older. Well, I've been very lucky that those problems have sort of dissipated. I still have gout, and I doubt whether I'll ever get rid of it, but that's the only thing. Let's just get on to the next frame and see what we've got here. Now this is a friend of mine in Australia. He was 265 kilograms. He's now 195 kilograms, having had stomach banding. But he had to have that taken out because it hurt him too much. And that's at 190 kilos. The left foot that you see, I think you're seeing the left foot there, is before he started taking stem cells. So he was in a terrible state after taking stem cells, and bear in mind he takes 8 a day. After taking 8 stem cells a day, his feet are now bearable. So your feet are something you can't get away from. You can be, be easy with your hands, but you've actually got to get around. He's now 190 kilos, on his way down to 160. When he goes to the hospital, they pick him up in a truck. So that's just to show you an example. That's a graphically bad example. I'm sure most of us don't have that. But it's just an example of what stem cells can actually do. He's tried everything else and nothing worked. Somebody with shingles. Has anybody here had shingles? It's the most of, I understand it's incredibly painful, and it's a sort of a follow-on from chickenpox as kids. That's what it is. And if you've had shingles, I have an ex-wife who had shingles, and she was in pain for many years. This is one of the guys that's in the stem cell business, and I think it took him just 2 or 3 weeks to actually get from having all those marks and pain and suffering to the stem cells actually fixing his shingles. Stem cells actually fix nearly everything. Some of the other benefits of StemEnhance. Mood enhancement. Does anybody need any mood enhancement? I do occasionally. There's a list of things here. It's a powerful antioxidant. We all know we need those. It improves concentration. I don't think it does that in my case. I wish it did. It can increase mental energy, healthier sleep patterns. Well, I don't have any problems sleeping. I would spend my life in bed if I possibly could. benefits to the immune system, and we all know how important that is because that's the thing that keeps us alive, and it helps regenerate tissues and glands that may have an effect on producing and releasing beneficial hormones and chemicals within the human body. What a wonderful thing to say. So we have a product that actually does nothing but release your stem cells. It doesn't do anything else. The product doesn't fix anything. It allows the body to repair itself. So if you're 70 years old and you're getting 10% or 5% of the stem cells you were getting when you were 15 years old, now you can increase that by 30 or 40% within an hour. So I take 4 a day. They recommend 2 a day, but I take 4 because I feel that at 76 I should be taking a little bit more, and the energy and the feeling good is all there. Unlock the power within. Okay, now here's a list of the things that stem cell nutrition has helped anyone with. Has anybody got any questions at this stage about the product or anything else they want to know? Sorry, did somebody say where does the product come from? I actually get mine from New Zealand, but it comes from the United States. It comes from a place called Lake Klamath, which is one of these lakes that was formed a billion years ago, and it's a foam, it's an algae that sits on top of the lake, and the company that I deal with, which is called Cerule, mines it. So they have a boat and they collect this, and it's made in an ISO 9000 laboratory type situation and spread throughout the world. I've only been involved since 2017. I think they've been doing it for about 20 years, and there are somewhere around 235,000 people worldwide using the product successfully at this stage. But there is lots of information. If you want more information, Dr. Wren here has got the answer. He will tell you what's what. If you want to talk to me, I can leave a card and you can speak to me, and I can put you in touch with people that will help you. I know nothing about the medical side of the operation and how it works. I only know it worked for me, and it's worked for friends who have kidney problems, liver problems, and quite a few people in Thailand seem to have liver problems. I think it's due to that 4-letter word beer. And I think that's why people get livers which are really hard. So that's, you can see a list up there of all the things: foot sores, lung tissue, pneumonia, prostate problems. I'm not going to ask people to put their hands up if they have a prostate problem or have had, because exactly. And what a painful situation, having to think where you've got to go, excuse me ladies, and have a pee. And it's that sort of situation that I have found has been very beneficial from this. I'm dead lucky. And when I say dead lucky, I don't mean D-E-A-D lucky. I'm dead lucky simply because if I hadn't had the aortic aneurysm, I would never have taken this product. I would never have believed in it. When I went to the first meeting with the company, which was in 2017, there was a lady there with her dad, and her dad had Parkinson's disease, and he was in a wheelchair, and he was nice to talk to, but he did this all the time. And I was there 12 months later, because I go back every year twice. I have to go back for my, not for my visa, but for my pension and other things in Australia. And I got back and I went to the next meeting and I saw him there. And he was on 2 sticks walking. Now that might not be marvellous to you, but if you've been in a wheelchair for 5 years, it's pretty bloody marvellous. I went to the hospital to have my checkup, my 6 months checkup, and I'm talking to the doctor and the nurse practitioner, and I'm talking because I obviously want to share my story about my stem cells. And I said to the nurse practitioner, have you ever heard of Cerule and stem cells? And she said, yes. She said, but we can't recommend it because of the AMA. We're not allowed to recommend things like that. And I said, well, what's happened? She said, my dad's been sick for 30 years. I've got him on stem cells and he's almost back to normal. So the results can be amazing. They are
1, 2, test, 1, 2.
Different for everybody. I have a friend who had white hair and it's now brown again. Mine is out of a bottle bought from, I can't think of the chemist that does 2 for 1. I buy the 2 for 1 stuff, but in many cases it will put the copper back into your hair, it will affect your eyesight. The skin, I can't understand why. I mean, I've lived in sunny climates all my life, and my skin has just improved and improved and improved. And the skin is one of the most important organs in the body, and particularly if one is from Australia, where skin cancer is very prevalent. So there's a list. You can see the things that it may or may not have fixed. Kidneys are very important to us, and it certainly works on those. I've seen it work on liver conditions. My ex-wife had a liver condition. She was working with the coach out of the bottle. His name was Johnny Walker, and she was also working with a bottle of wine every day. If she didn't have a bottle of wine every day, my life was incredibly miserable. That's why we're no longer married. But the point about the situation is she had a test on her liver which was like shoe leather, apparently, and I got her on the stem cells. She didn't have money, so I paid for her to go on the stem cells, and now she's got a liver that you could eat for breakfast. So that's just to give you an idea of the situation. Has anybody got any other questions that they might want to say? Please.
What an interesting guy, you know. I mean, I've known about stem cells for quite a while, and not particularly this name. I haven't taken them myself, but I'm looking to do that now because I had a test a week ago to find I'm anemic. Well, I've never been anemic in my life. So I'm worried that my blood cells are not being manufactured enough in my bone marrow. So I'm interested in that. I've just been asked one thing. What's the cost and what's the name of the product?
The product is called Cerule. Cerule is a blue colour, and the company is now based in the United States, in California. They actually mine the aqua floss, or whatever it's called, from a lake in somewhere, a lake called Lake Klamath, and they mine it. And thank you, we've got Ren here. Ren has details and can carry on.
The company is called Cerule, C-E-R-U-L-E, and the product is called StemEnhance Ultra. Do not worry. At the end of my talk, I have a link page in my website. It's just renlexander/links. Go there. You can click on the link. It'll take you to the website. It talks you through what to do. I've been on them for a short amount of time. I was going to delay this a few months because I thought, you know, I could talk more about my experience. My experience has been positive so far, but I thought, really, I want everybody I know who's a friend of mine over the age of 50 to be on this stuff. So I thought we'd move the talk earlier, okay? But this is not, it's not like an injection you get to kill pain. This is a long-term thing, right? This is like, really, you want to get on these, you want to be on at least 6 months, and really, I think you want to be on them for the rest of your life. That's my opinion.
I do get asked from people from time to time, well, if I take this product, how long do I need to take it? And I've got just one answer to that. How long do you want to live? That's the answer. That's the answer to the whole situation. I will take until the day I die, which I think I'm going to have good health for a very long time, apart from my gout, which I'm willing to share with everybody. I don't seem to have too many problems. In the waterworks situation and your personal situations, it does have benefits. I'm not going to talk about that in front of ladies here, but you can work it out from yourselves. And the results are just amazing. You can talk to Ren. If you want to talk to me, and I've been talking to people about it for 5 years, I know lots of people. I can put you in touch with people that can help you. I'm not medically inclined, okay? I take the product and say, thank you, God, every day. That's all I say. And I've been taking it, as I said, since November 2017. I have a friend called Harry Lynn, who's a musician in Australia. He's a retired float pilot. And Harry plays at Twin Towns for any Aussies and places like that know the Gold Coast. And Harry fell down the stairs about a year and a half ago. He's 81. Oh, he's 82 now. He's getting old now. He's 82. Harry fell down the stairs, so he broke something, and he had to have the plaster on. And if any of you had a broken bone, you know they put that plaster on with the paper, with the cloth in it, and he had that done, and then 2 weeks later they took that off and they did a bone scan on Harry. And then the doctor came back and he said, Harry, there's something wrong. We've got to do another bone scan. Now, Harry started taking them the week after I did because I told him about them. And they did another bone scan and found that his bone density was 4 times what was expected of a person of 80 years of age. And we all know that when we get old, things get broken. My mother, who was in her 70s, she lived till 88, but my mother, when she was in her 70s, was staying with me and she had a sore hand. And I took her to the doctor, and the doctor said the hand is broken. And that's what happens when you get old. You get osteoporosis, you get all these things. But this puts the body back together. I'm not saying it'll put it back to when you were 25, and you don't deserve it anyway. 35 you're allowed, but 25 not. You don't know too much at that stage. But the thing about it is, I just want to share it with people. If you like it, great. If you don't, it doesn't matter. But you've got an opportunity now to take the body back maybe 10 or 15 years on a regular basis. The costs I can't actually tell you because I joined the business in November 2017, and as I was sick, I phoned all my friends and told them they all joined, so mine was free. And I've never paid for the product, and I've taken it consistently since then. So that's the situation as far as I'm concerned. Let's just try and get on to another frame here if we've got one. Oh, renlexander.com/links is the place to go to. If you've got questions that Ren can't answer, he can put you in touch with me, and we can put you in touch with somebody that you can talk to directly that has had an experience with such a problem. I don't know if there's any other questions. Sir?
Can you buy that Ultra product here in Pattaya?
No, you can't buy it here in Pattaya. You have to order it by mail, and it will be sent from New Zealand to you directly here. Takes 2 weeks, Ren? Mine was 13 days, my last lot. I always keep 15 bottles in the top drawer because I'm afraid I'll run out. So that's being stupid, but don't laugh at me. I'm still here. I'm feeling good. My hands are good. My body's good. And if anybody wants my gout, I'm quite happy to give it to them. Sir?
Yeah. I suffer a long time from arthritis, and I tried everything, years and years, Pattaya Hospital, vitamins, minerals, everything. So the result is a lot of pain, cannot sleep, etc., etc. So I took a stem cell infusion 5 weeks ago for the first time here in Pattaya. But it's very costly. I can say the price. I paid 300,000 baht for two infusions. Yes, and the first infusion was 5 weeks ago. The second infusion was 3 weeks ago, and this is in the company Fresh Medic, not far from immigration office on the on the corner there. So, but until now, I don't have any results, but they said also, yeah, it can take 1 month, 6 weeks. So I hope it will have results. I was desperate, so I tried it, and but I'm sure interested in your product also.
Well, the other thing is that SEU, the Stem Cell Ultra, is just one of the products they have. They have a product for blood flow, because if we're a diabetic, we get funny feet, so we have to watch them, and I take 2 of those tablets once a week to fix that up. They also have a product for arthritis, but the stem cells will fix most things. Just remember, this is not paracetamol. You don't take it and 2 hours later the pain is gone.
I know.
This is a long-term expression. You need to talk to people about it. You need to work on it. And yes, it will fix arthritis. I suffer from a little arthritis, but the stem cells keep it at bay. And I know how painful it is when you can't move your elbow, and I always think it's gout, but you can't move your elbow, or your hand's sore, or your foot's sore. It's bloody terrible. So I know entirely. But your 300,000 baht that you spent, would give you enough stem cells to last you until you were about 170 years old. So you're not going to do too bad out of it.
Yeah.
As I say, we can sit down, and if people are interested, we can actually make a meeting with Ren and me, and we'll get somebody on a screen to answer questions. I can't answer your questions. I'm only interested in what happened to me and my family and friends. But now I've decided, having talked to Ren, I'm going to share this with everybody. If everybody wants to try it, that's great. The results will differ from person to person. As I say, I have a friend whose hair was white that went brown. Mine comes out of a bottle from Watson's, okay? So, you know, we all do it different ways. But my hands have turned into young person's hands. They're not pretty hands because I've got short, stubby fingers, but I blame my father for that. You know, but there's nothing we can do. We've just got to keep on trying. The results with people are different for every person because whilst the stem cell product is exactly the same, the people are all different. So you're going to get a different result. But you need to share it and talk to somebody about it. And we're always around. I live here. I've lived here for 10 years. And I'm happy to catch up for a coffee and talk to you about it and put you in touch with somebody. You've got to take the pain away.
It's not only the pain, but it's every day you're tired. You work a half hour, then you have to sit down and sleep. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Well, in fairness, I get up at 5 o'clock every day because I have a business that works in Australia and around the world. And at 11 o'clock every morning, I generally have 2 hours kept because I'm up till 9 o'clock at night. And 76 years old, I think that's all right. And I think the more you do, the better it will get. So taking the stem cells, you've got to start very slowly. You've only got to take 2 a day because they can give you a touch of diarrhea. They never did it with me, and nobody ever told me about it or how to take them. I just read on the bottle. But we've now got so much information and so many testimonials, you can't read them in the rest of your life. The things that it's done have been absolutely amazing.
Okay, thank you.
2 Nobel Prizes were given out for the people that found out this worked. And we've got all that information, and if people want it, Ren can send it to you by email, I can send it to you by email, or put it on Messenger, or put it on WhatsApp. We're here to help one another now. Okay. It's us against the world. You realise that, don't you? That's what happens here. We've all got to help one another.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you tell us what the ingredients are in the product?
No, I can't tell. It's called, there's 3 ingredients. I can't think of their names. As I said, I'm not technical, but we do have it. It's mesenchyme, aquafloss, and something else. And these come off Lake Klamath in the US, which is the biggest place for them. For 9 months of the year, they harvest it with fishing line. They have boats with big fishing lines on it that go round and round. They collect it, they put it into a laboratory, a 9,000 ISO laboratory, and they make it into capsules. But yes, we do have everything, all the information. And if you talk to Ren, I'll send it to you today, and you can then do a little research yourself.
Hi, I just want to confirm this is an MLM product?
Can be, yes, if you want to. You don't have to. You can just buy it.
But it's a multi-level marketing company.
Yeah, it's been around for about 20 years doing just that, but lots of people just take it as customers.
And the product is not prescribed by any doctors or available in any pharmacies?
It's available in pharmacies?
It's not available in pharmacies?
No, it's not sold. It's not sold in pharmacies. And if it's sold in this country, it's called NFR, which means not for resale. So when you buy product from Australia, or it might come from the US to here, I don't know. If it comes from the US, it will come directly to you.
And do you know the name of the Nobel Prize winners?
No, but we can find that out.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi there. Please, can we get down to the nitty-gritty? I'm a pensioner, 89 years old, and my pension is very, very small. So the real big question, how much is a thing of a carton of this pills, please?
What country are you from?
I'm from the UK, but I live in Thailand.
No. I was just trying to think of a currency. They cost, for 2 stem cells a month, it costs about $80 Australian, which is about £50, I think, sterling.
For so what? For what? A day? Or what?
For a month.
£50 For a month?
Yes.
Wow. Wow, that's mega bucks, isn't it? How long do you want to live?
Okay, not a question, but you mentioned that it doesn't take care of gout, but I take 2 medicines here in Thailand that are preventative. I've been taking them every day, and since then I have not had any recurrence of gout. Do you want to know what they are, or you just check with me later?
Okay, well, I take allopurinol, and the only reason I get gout is because I forget to take it. So that's just a lazy thing on my part.
Okay,
yes,
you're probably taking the same thing I am.
Yeah, it's got about 4 or 5 names. If you take one a day, it prevents the build-up of uric acid in the bones.
Is Klamath Lake the only source of this product?
No, it comes from somewhere in Africa, but the US, like having most of the oil, has most of this. This lake was appeared 3 million years ago. There was a volcano, and the water is absolutely pure, and it's the best place for getting it. There are other places where it can be got, but I don't think they have the same purity. As we get ours from Lake Klamath, and Sorul does most of the mining there. They don't own the mining rights. There's 2 companies that do it, but they supply it to many companies. It's not only supplied by Sorul. There are probably 40 or 50 companies doing this stem cell compound in various forms at various prices.
Klamath Lake is in eastern Oregon.
That's it. Thank you very much.
I'm from Oregon.
Okay.
Just as a side note, the local farmers and the Indian tribes are in a pissing contest over the water because of the lack of water.
It happens in Australia. It happens the world over, my friend. Absolutely. Somebody else?
Last question, I think.
I have 2 questions. Is there any known side effects, and is there any known consequences if you take the product and then stop 6 months later because you don't feel like it's accomplishing anything for you?
The only known side effect I've been told about is when you start it is a little diarrhea. I've been taking it for a long time. I've never had any side effects ever, apart from the fact you've got to swallow it. And if you stop taking it, the stem cells won't be ejected from the from where they come from in your body in the same way as they were now. You'll go back to, if you're 70 years old, 10% or 5%. It's nature's way of killing us, basically. It's nature's way of moving us on. If we all got the same amount of stem cells, none of us would look old. We'd all look 18 years old, and you're probably the same age as me. You know, so no, if you stop taking it, you just don't get the benefits from the stem cells coming out every day and fixing things. So it's a personal choice. You speak to people and they say, I've spent 100,000, 200, 300,000 baht in getting treatment at the hospital and this, that and the other, and nothing has happened. I don't know anybody that's personally taken this, in my experience, that I've talked to, that hasn't had some benefit. And it does depend person to person, because the product is the same, but the people aren't. It's a bit like my friend that got the brown hair, and I didn't. As I said, Watson's, if anybody wants to know. That's where I get mine. Okay? Were there any more quickies? Yes?
All right. After you take it for 6 months, you're saying that's till when you're going to find some results. Is that right?
I can't tell you how quickly it will work. When I took it, I didn't know that I was getting any benefit. I was just frightened because it hadn't gone down. My aortic aneurysm hadn't gone down from the jelly checks. And so I continued to take it. I only really found out the benefit when I went to the doctor for my driver's license, and he said, your eyes are 20/20. That was the way I found out about it. And then I looked at the skin on the back of my hands, and I used to show it to people. I say, 74 years old, look what I've got. So that's the only way I could tell. But my blood pressure's about 124/72. I haven't, touch wood, had any heart problems that I know about apart from my aneurysm.
Okay, so I've taken 5 bottles now so far.
Yeah.
And you gave me 1 bottle for my eyes.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm taking it is for my eyes. And you only give me 1 bottle, and I don't understand that. But after 6 months, do you get your money back if it doesn't work for you? Every internet, no, wait a minute, every internet order, that's what you guys do. You order it over the internet. They guarantee 6 months, 1 year, whatever it is. If it doesn't work for you or have a problem, you get a full refund. Are you guys going to refund or not?
Can I just answer that question? If you read it when you actually bought the product, it said if you don't like it within 30 days, they'll give you your money back. You don't have to send the product back. They will give you a 100% refund, the company. They've got 235,000 people worldwide using it successfully.
I know, I got that.
But
I'm talking about for me. I don't care about, listen.
It doesn't work.
George, I don't care about them. I worry about me,
of
you
course.
know? So are you going to give me my money back or not? Yes or no?
Well, I didn't sell them to you. The company will give you your money back. They will refund you 100% of your money within a month.
Listen, I bought it from you. You took my money.
I beg your
You
pardon?
owe me the money if I want my money back, not this other country.
I didn't take your money. You ordered it on your card from the company. You didn't buy it from me. I think you bought it with your credit card.
You bought it on a
directly from the
credit
company.
card from,
you can't buy it from
New
Rent.
Zealand. I sold you 2 of my bottles because you were desperate to start. I didn't want to, and but then you ordered from Cerule in New Zealand directly.
You're telling me I have to talk to New Zealand?
You just have to ask for the refund. Yeah, we'll help you if you want to do it. Yeah.
You're not going to help me do that?
Yeah, we will. We'll help you. Yeah.
Okay.
If you're unhappy, with the product,
anything at the Expat Club, I joined there 16 years ago. It's expats helping expats, not expats helping George.
That is rude and out of line. Yes, it is. Who thinks that was rude and out of line? This guy is here. He doesn't need the money. He's doing quite well on other things. He came to give the talk because I really believe this product can benefit a lot of people. And it's very unique. I don't know anything else that's out there like that, but it is not a Western drug that you inject and you feel, well, this poor guy spent 300,000 baht and it's been how many? It's been like 5 weeks and he's felt no benefit at all yet. So you have my sympathy, sir. And I guarantee you, if you go back to the hospital, they're not going to give you your money back. So, yeah. Anyway, so that was a little bit more interesting than we thought the end would be.
yeah, sir.
Yeah.
There we are, Ron. You've got a customer.
The thing I will say to you, yes, I think it costs maybe $65 US a bottle for a month. If you go to my website, a link there, links, you'll scroll down and you can see how to get to the Cerule thing. Yes, you'll enroll under me. You'll have the opportunity to become what they call an IBO, independent business operator. You should take that opportunity because when you buy it, you can get six bottles of StemEnhance Ultra at a discount price, save $100, something like that. So you should definitely enroll as an independent business operator. And then anybody you introduce, you'll get some benefit from. Maybe you'll end up getting your product for free or whatever. So, but mainly we're here, you know, as George knows, he's got another business he'd like me to operate. But this is the one I'm enthusiastic about because it's unique. I don't know anything else out there that is like this. And I've only been taking it at a short time, and I've felt some things in my body that I can't, you know, I have to talk about separately. But yeah, many thanks, George, for coming and giving this talk. I hope that people, who, if they can afford it, will give it a go because it's like really worth seriously trialing because for like 6 months because there's nothing else out there like this. And there's a tremendous amount of scientific study going into this whole question of stem cells and how to stimulate them, etc., etc. Oh, and on that Link's website, if you scroll down, there's the video that George started off with, the 5-minute video. But there's also a 6.5-minute video below that. That's one of the scientists involved in developing this product and how she's developed it and why they do it and why it works, and etc. So it's really worth looking at that video as well. We've got a little certificate of appreciation for George. Thank you for giving the talk.
That's the first and last certificate I'll ever get, I reckon.
You didn't
Thank you for listening to me today. I hope it helps you. Okay?
give it